Welcome Ashwini, welcome Pavail, welcome
Hi.
Sami.
Thank
Welcome to
you.
Cinema Express. Hi. So you two are not from Bombay and you grew up in Mumbai.
Yes, I'm very much a Mumbai
Right. Right. So this will play a little differently. Do you guys remember, two of you, your first day in the city?
Yeah.
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 And can you tell us about it? How was it and where?
I mean, I used to keep coming here because my grandparents lived here. So I used to spend my summer vacation with them. But I remember it had a very distinct smell, the city. And that smell is still there. It's not gone. It's a very, very I stay
The smell of success.
I'm waiting to smell it. It's a dry fish ka smell, yaar.
Uh-huh.
So that's the memory I associate Mumbai.
Which part
with.
of town would you come to?
I stay on Linking Road. So
Pavail, yours?
Yeah. So the first I came to a film school, and that was my first day. And I remember in the film
you
school.
never came to Mumbai before that?
No.
So you were 18 years old ever?
Yeah. No.
No wonder he turned out like this.
है ना? So I came to film school directly, Whistling Woods.
Hmm.
So my ride was from the airport. The Uber तो होता नहीं था. So taking that Kali Pili cab and going to Goregaon East. I don't call that my first visit to Bombay because I was in one part of Goregaon East and बहुत दिनों बाद फिर जब मैं Goregaon East से बाहर निकला उन जंगलों से तब पता लगा अरे ये होता है बॉम्बे.
What is the first, let's say, a very famous place you went to? Let's say a monument or
यार
a part
मेरे
of town?
तब पैसे होते नहीं थे ज्यादा और आसपास ही जा सकते थे तो the closest thing was that hub mall. तो वहीं पर पिक्चर देखने जाते थे. So I think that was my first what do you call it excursion.
I see.
Yeah.
And Ashwini, because you grew up in Mumbai, you tell us a day, let's say, that you remember as something that's very tied up with the spirit of the city, or when you look back at your life, like that day is very intrinsically tied up to what Mumbai is or your feelings about the city.
Completely. I am born and brought up in Mulund. I studied in SIS, which is Science. Then I went to I did my commercial arts from Sophia Polytechnic, which is Pedder Road. And for me, the most important thing which I will never forget, and that also keeps me rooted also today, is that I every day used to catch the 8:36 ladies special, which used to come from Thane return, Mulund, from Thane. So it used to come from Thane. I used to sit in that train and then go to either Chinchpokli, or I used to go to Dadar or Parel, either of the three. Then from Dadar, I used to go to Grant Road. And or Parel to Grant Road, and from Grant Road opposite there is this bus which goes to Pedder Road. We used to sit in that bus, or sometimes if there was a sharing taxi, we used to take the sharing taxi and then reach Pedder Road upar Bridge Candy Hospital ke wahan par. And we used to do the same thing every day and come back also with portfolios and everything.
These are your ad days.
These are my college days, and
Right.
even my ad days is because in advertising agency I was working in Leo Burnett, which is again in Pedder Road. So we used to do the same thing, Mulund to Grant Road, or Mulund to Parel, Parel to Chinchpokli, and Chinchpokli to take a train or a taxi to Pedder Road, or when it shifted to Parel, then you used to take a taxi or you just used to walk.
Right.
But for me, my most fondest memories always in Mumbai, and then Bombay, now Mumbai, but nothing has changed. Is the train, the whole idea of traveling by trains anytime. And also I do feel, because I have so many friends who come from Delhi and other places and talk about that cannot or not, you can, but don't go out late in the night or don't travel. And for me, I never experienced any of these things, is because I have traveled in rickshaws and taxis late in the night after work, because ad agencies, we all work till like really late and have come back home to Mulund. And it has never been, I so am fond of this city, of its vibrancy, of the people, of everyone who just become like your friends. And nothing has changed, because we shot in whether we shot it in Dharavi or we shot in one of the slums here for almost 20 days of shoot, and it all just became a part of you. They just acknowledge you. everyone in Mumbai just makes you feel a part of your own. And that is something which is very, very nice, is because I had friends who had come in from Delhi and who were working in the agency, and he had bought a new car. And I asked him that what took you so long to buy a car here? He was my colleague, and he told me that in Delhi I had to buy a big car because people will judge me. Here I don't have to do that. I can do whatever and I still be there. I think that's what the city gives us.
Right.
Also, यहाँ पे पार्किंग खरीदनी पड़ेगी
हाँ.
गाड़ी के साथ
किधर?
बॉम्बे में.
हाँ तो ठीक है ना यार, वो तो मैं तो पहले की बात कर रही हूँ.
हाँ, तब भी खरीदनी पड़ती थी.
Like first few days I had arrived and I was put up in Worli by the company I joined, and मेरे घर के बाहर there was this long trail of Audis just parked like that, like you know, catching dust. And coming from a small town, it was like a shock to me. Actually, like, okay, लोग खरीद भी रहे हैं और खरीद के इतना हो गया है कि like they can like let it litter like that. But you're correct, like it helps you overcome that you probably don't need anything to show off, right? Because there's so many different dimensions.
Yeah,
to the
there
city,
is a dimension to the city, and also I think it is also walking along together. So you have the sky rise, but then you have like, you know, people of all economic backgrounds stay together, and there is a sense of oneness which is there, which you will see whether you go to Warsaw, I think he stays there that side, and or anywhere,
Right.
Of course, now I stay in Chembur, which again is a very different vibe altogether.
Do you still get to hop on a train?
Yeah, I go very much especially if I have to go to VT and all that now. On a Sunday and all, I 100% go. I love it.
Right, that's very nice.
And even auto. Why are you looking at me? Hello?
I wanted to begin by talking about Bombay because it seems very tied up with the idea of Faadu, and the city is such a backdrop to the love story that you guys are playing, but a very different part of the city.
Auto, I think auto is our friend.
Yeah, they
Mumbai.
are. They are. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Ask
You don't have to wait for anything. You just get into an auto. You can just go anywhere.
Yes. I wish
And
they
I
had
can still
autos
remember
downside.
my autowala will like wait till I get into the building, and after I've gone, then he will go.
Right.
You know, those are the little things which we'll always remember in the city.
Shooting for this, did you guys discover a new side to the city that probably before you had no idea of, or maybe got to know a place more intimately?
Absolutely. I mean, we've shot this in live locations, right? And it's generally you shoot it for like ek din, do din, teen din. We've shot a whole bunch of the show there, the major part of it. And honestly, that was the best part about the shoot. We've shot it all over nice places, and we've gone to international waters. We've gone to another country altogether to shoot. But I think that that Band area that we shot at, I think that was the most fun experience and most enriching experience of our lives. We've met so many people, so many characters, and we've had a ball. First 2-3 days, we had discussed before shooting it कि यार हम कैसे shoot करेंगे वहाँ पर. It must be impossible to shoot. We've had that shoot without any hindrance. We've had so much fun shooting this, and I never knew that side of Bombay.
And also, I think the rawness of what we kind of explored when you see the show also, and also when you see Abhilash Tapyal, who's playing as Roxy's character, and their relationship and everything, and how they are, there is a sense of rawness which you can never find. You can never create that kind of rawness. It comes from, like she said, no, there's a fragrance. She said smell, but for me, it's like a fragrance of a city.
I see.
You know, and there are so many times when you've traveled outside the country and all, and kitna bhi kuch bol lo, but the moment you land in Mumbai, there is a sense of like there is something which is there.
Right.
You know, for me, actually, I just suddenly realized that all day I haven't spoken about it, but the Band area where we were shooting at, I stay in Khar. So my maid lived in the next, like in that same place. So she was a relatively new maid, so she didn't know I was an actor. And then she was just like, you know, very curiously, were you in my area kind of a thing? Like she was just like not understanding she should ask or she should not ask. And then she was really like obviously not starstruck, but she was just very excited. This is like Malayalam shooting and was very excited. And in 2-3 days, it almost became like, So are you coming home tomorrow? Like, you know,
Right,
it became
right,
like
right.
that was our discussion.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So
yeah.
because it was just so beautiful, because she used to live right there. So it was shooting there. And for me, he'll say, oh, don't go back there again. But I'm from Xavier's. I've studied in Xavier's for 5 years. So we shot in Xavier's, and I was just so excited to go back to college, because it was like this, you know, everyone wants to go back and shoot in the place where they have studied and stuff like that. So I was very excited to go back and shoot in college.
Right. Any of you ever tried writing poetry? Do you guys write poetry?
Yeah, I've written a book which has
Yes,
a lot
you
of
have.
poetry in it.
Yeah,
So
you do.
yeah, I write poetry.
Pavail?
She listens to poetry and she also writes.
I write for myself.
Yeah.
खुद के लिए लिखते हैं.
You never wanted to publish or post?
Publish and all, no.
You do?
No, yeah, I haven't. I don't have the guts to do it, and I don't have the discipline to do it. I think writing requires a lot of discipline. I would love to. I think maybe someday in the future, but I don't have the discipline right now to actually sit and write.
But he has a great discipline to sit and read.
Hmm.
And read and read and read. Screenplays.
Yeah, I can read screenplays, but writing it requires a lot of discipline. I don't think I have. that.
Abhilash actually writes really
Abhilash
well.
writes
Who's
really well.
playing
Yeah.
Roxy is a very, very good writer.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he writes a lot of poems
Lovely.
also.
Ashwini, I was chatting with you last time for Ankai Kahaniyan, and we got talking about love stories and movies which are love stories. And you signaled out Abhiman as a huge influence on you and a
Yes.
film you love.
Even today.
Yeah, and it just occurred to me that that's a story of two singers and their relationship and the troubles they go through. But that's a different era, that's a different
Yeah.
world. What changes now when you see the modern world right now and you have themes of ambition, everything from houses to Bombay to technology, all this hustle and bustle of the city? What has fundamentally changed, if anything, about love and relationships today?
I think the fundamental thing which has changed is that the relationship, the idea of love has always been there for centuries. That will never change.
Right.
But how you're perceiving love in different eras have always been different. And also with the changing time, with what you see, what you hear, what your technology. So maybe we are like this, but I think the next generation would be something else, you know. The way they look at love is kind of a kind of very transitory for them. For this generation, the way love is time. Time. It is time. It is really looking out for that time. And and also the idea of wanting everything, but not having the patience and the sustenance capability to not having the patience and the ability to sustain a relationship.
I see.
I think it's because love needs a lot of adjustments, and love does need a lot of patience, and love definitely needs more time. When we see go to a mall today, and just sit there like for 5 minutes at the food hall, and I've seen so many couples who are together but all of them on their phone, and that's what love has come to. So the best part is that you see them sitting on the phone and putting a post on Instagram about the same person they have just
Right.
and reciprocating their love on Instagram and not in front of you.
Do you guys agree with this view?
I absolutely agree. I detest people who wish their mothers happy birthday or fathers happy birthday on Instagram. I just can't.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I absolutely don't understand that.
I do wish my mother on Instagram.
Except you. No, but I would rather, like, I'm not that person, so yeah.
No, I agree. And I really like the comparison you made with Abhiman, because it's my all-time favorite film. It's in a different space. But I feel that Kausar, who's written our songs, beautifully written songs again. I was chatting with her and she said, I'm so happy to be working on this show, because it just feels so nice to see pure love, which we haven't seen in a web show. We're not making content like this. I feel my grandmom, that generation, they were so brave in love. They didn't have like checklists and they didn't have agendas. They loved from their heart and not from their head. I think a lot of people our age, I think, they're loving from their head, not from their heart. So I think this show, the love is from the heart.
Because I don't think so. If you've given a comparison of Abhiman now, that is not the problem. The problem is not about who is more successful or who is earning more. That's not the problem. The problem is about compatibility and time and patience.
Okay, fun stuff. Tell me a location, a very unlikely romantic location of Mumbai. So don't tell me Marine Drive, don't tell me Bandstand. Something that you think is a very romantic location of the city, but very unlikely or underrated.
Our romance has been
In the
Faadu,
area,
in
Band area
the
of
Nala.
which is very romantic.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. Can be.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah,
Once you see the show, you realize
you
how.
guys found love on the chat, yeah?
Yeah.
But you know,
fine.
my idea of romance in Mumbai, I mean, not the Bandstand and Marine Drive, but I just feel that just driving around in this city is really romantic. You spend a lot of time with each other.
Yeah, because you can't get anywhere.
I know, you're in traffic, but I just find it like I really like late night drives in Mumbai.
Right. Also like the idea of releasing trailers and teasers as scenes, and it doesn't usually happen. And I really admire that rather than a clutter of all that's happening, you put two scenes are beautifully put out in as teasers. Can you guys talk about shooting that scene in the high rise, and that you guys are together and you know
Baapre.
your characters are dreaming.
The
of, you know, buying a
elevator
place?
wasn't working.
Crazy
And it
show.
was a real climb up to the
Everyone
high
had
rise.
to go, like, not everyone could go on to that high rise is because it is
And
it's
beach mein na-
irresponsible and also it is very scary.
Beach mein lift band ho gayi, so our
Haan.
content supervisor lost
She
her
had like
marbles. Like she
she
lost
had
her shit.
panic.
Tripti,
Right.
yeah, she started
she's got-
panicking is because the lift is open. It is only on the lift,
Yeah.
which is not like this lift.
It's not a proper
And it
lift,
doesn't
na?
have any gate or anything. It's just like some random thing. And we were only about 10 people who were up there. And those 10 people also, like, and you literally, when we went for the tech, we had to tell our production people to put red marks, is because you go one step behind, you will fall.
It was an under construction.
It's under
building,
construction.
obviously.
So the people, not the actors, but the people behind, like even the camera or the camera attendants, and you know, the director still is in a safe place. But there are a lot of other people who were standing. I still remember Pavel's team, Saiyami's team, everyone. We had to make sure that the red marks are there, and they're not even stepping one step behind. You know, because unknowingly you can just go back. If you go back, you're just going to fall down. God, it was so scary. It
Yeah,
was
but
like-
that location seemed, in terms of more, we thought this is a rich location we are shooting at after shooting so many days the other way.
No, but then it was a restricted. Also, in terms of shooting, it was very restricted for
Yeah.
me, is because I can't go take the camera on this side. I can only be back or
Yeah.
to that location.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they did a really good job.
One thing I really admire about your cinema also is you're one of the most gender sensitive directors. Like even in your films, like even if there's a female protagonist, the male characters are very well etched out, much more softer, rounded, and that's something I look forward to. You know how both the dynamics come together. Did you guys feel that in the writing when you guys were shooting for Faadu?
No, I absolutely agree with all the work that ma'am's done. It's not only the protagonists, it's even characters in like who have played smaller parts. You tend to remember them also for really long. You know?
Right.
So even in Faadu, there's so many characters that stand out. So be it Abhilash, who's playing Roxy's, or like my father, who's so beautiful. He is so
Girish,
yeah,
Amazing.
he's just such a good actor. But every character really stands out because that's all credit to her and Soumya sir's writing, of course. But the credit to her to make sure that every character has a graph that starts and there's an end. It's not just left somewhere, you know.
Right.
And she gives every character just as much importance.
Right.
So it's not like, oh, he's here for 2 scenes. Or it's not that. Like there is someone who's she'll say, don't tell the story of the film, but there's this one particular character who's literally there for 2 scenes. This Marathi actor,
Go on.
he is like, he's there for 2 scenes, but you can't take your eyes off him, you know, because she's given him so much importance even for those 2 scenes.
Right.
So I think all the credit goes to the way she gives every character so much importance.
Also would apply to Avem Manjari's relationship, right? And how both their, let's say, perspectives are reflected.
Yeah, because see, it's so Amay sir has written it, and I was looking at it at a very different gaze altogether. She kind of uh, brought the sensitivity to it, and I needed her to bring that to me because I wouldn't have seen it from a mile away.
Right.
So I really needed her in that point to take me into another direction which I wasn't thinking of going, and to make him at points vulnerable. And maybe that's the reason if women connect with Abhay, it's going to be because of that. Because I was going in a completely different direction.
Because he's the go-getter and the ambitious
Yeah,
guy.
But I
yeah.
also think that as a director, I think my approach is like that. I do not know how others work, but I think as a director, it's also very important to understand it's a relationship which you form with your actors, and they are playing two roles. There is a human called Pavail,
Right.
and then there is he's playing a character called Abhay, and I need to associate with both of them. Is because Pavail in real life is a certain kind of character, and then on screen is a certain kind of character, and they are two different people.
Of course.
So it is about talking a lot to him to understand, and then somewhere get into a midpoint, and also sometimes to even tell, you're not thinking this way, you're going here, and this is going to be your pitch, and this is how you need to be. And they may agree, they may not agree, but at the end of the day, you start molding yourself, and then you become that. Then you're no more Pavail Gulati for the next whatever, 70, 75 days. Is because then you're just Abhay.
Right.
You're living and breathing Abhay every day.
Right.
And then I'm talking to Abhay. I'm not talking to Pavail Gulati.
It's lovely. Faadu drops December 9th on Sony Live. Thank you so much. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
That was so.
Thank you.